Hello friends. So in this video I will discuss about one of the sorting algorithm, that is selection sort algorithm. So basically time complexity of this algorithm in worst case scenario is big of n square and in best case scenario it is big of n square. So in both of the case it is big of n square. So another other factors of this algorithm is that it is in place algorithm. In place means it doesn't take extra space to swap or to change the position of the elements to get into the sorted array. And it is also stable. That means when there are copied elements, then the index will remain at its position. Means if there are 3 times 20, then the first 20 which is of index lesser than other indexes, then that index value 20 will come first always. That is called stable algorithm. And next is it is used when memory writes are less. For example, if there are very less data and array is very in smaller in size and we have to write it on hard disk, then it is very easy because the number of swaps in this in selection sort is very less. The comparison are normal like big of n square, but number of swaps is for one pass it is only one. Per pass it is one. So that's it. So as you see on the screen, there are 4 pass because there are 5 elements. If there are n elements, there are n minus 1 pass. So there are index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and elements of array are 5, 2, 7, 1, 8. And I is 1 as we require for loop. That is index. So index is 1 means first iteration. Then phi is store in key, and that is compare with other elements. That is phi is compare with 2, phi is compare with 7, phi is compare with 1, phi is compare with 8. So iteratively it changes the minimum and set as the whichever the index is less than that particular I1, that will be set by the for loop. And after comparing, final value of minimum is 4, and after setting that minimum value to the min variable, we have to swap I and minimum of that particular array. Likewise in pass 2 also, pass 2, what happen in every pass, and at each and every pass the element which is of its original position come to its place. For example, 1 is it at the 3 position. After pass 1 it is automatically come to the first position because it is least element according to the value. And then after pass 2 the 2 will come, after pass 3 5 will come, after pass 4 7 will come, after pass 5 8 will come. Likewise each pass sets the position of that particular element into its original place. That is the pass. After each pass what happens, then we have to code it. So just, so we have to take one array, and how many array elements are there in that particular array, we have to store that. So array and integer name, we have to take one for loop because we have to go through iteratively through each and every element. Then we have to set minimum as we saw in the above, that we have to set the minimum to I, and then again one for loop which is equal to j I plus 1. Here why I write j I plus 1, because when I is 1 we have to start from second index, because the before 1 all other elements are already get sorted. So we have to just take care about the further elements, not before elements which has on that array. So that's why I return I plus 1, because at every index for every I for 0, I for 1, I for 2, I for 3, I for 5, for every I we have to start from the next element, because at each and every pass the one element is already get sorted. So we have to don't care about that, and we have to just pass the element from next to that element. So that's why I write here j I plus 1, then j plus plus, then again condition, if array of j is less than array of minimum, means our element for loop means that for loop is iterating through every element, and if that particular element is less than my holding element, I hold the minimum element, min is equal to I. If that element is less than my holding element, then I have to change the min is equal to j, because I found out here that my j is very less than my minimum. So we have to, before in insertion sort, what we did, we just swap that, but in selection sort we didn't swap, we just hold that j into minimum variable, and after for loop finishes we just swap that. That's why the least swap happen in this particular selection sort. That's why it is very handy to use when we have to store the data directly to hard disk and the small size is there are so many benefits, and we have to swap minimum and array of I. So that's it, this is a code. So I just dry run through the code again. First we declare two parameters, that is array and n. Array is my array and in n is my number of elements in that particular array. Then I write a for loop for go through each and every element. In that for loop I selected min is equal to I just declare one variable min, and I selected that min is equal to I. And next, for that each min, for that each I have to again go through the for loop, because we have to check every element with my minimum element, because my minimum element first is minim I, and that minimum element we have to check with other elements. And after checking with other elements, if I found that my minimum is greater than some element, we have to swap, we have to change that element. Instead of swapping, we have to change that index min is equal to j, and after for loop finishes means we found out that the least element or lesser than that minimum variable is found out, then we have to swap again. So at each and every iterative way we have to check the minimum, we have to change minimum is equal to j, and then after uh, doing that we have to swap the elements. So let's take one array of 5 elements. Elements are 5, 2, 7, 1, 8. These 5 elements, we have to pass the array and number of elements. Then to print out that array we have to use for loop. So that's it, code is run, code is done, so we have to run it. So that's it is in front of you that all the elements which are were first 52718 in such a manner, they are now sorted, means in increasing order they are sorted 12578. So that's it, thank you, stay blessed.